Hello and welcome to the Tech Bros podcast with myself, Egerton.
Me, Damien.
And it's Raj. The boys are back in town.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And today's episode is going to be on electric cars and greener energy.
Ooh,
Yes.
everyone's favorite subject and tax.
Yes.
Can you have a favorite tax?
At this point, I do, yeah. My favorite one is the cheapest one I've got, which at the moment is my car tax. So, £17 per month.
Oh, that's
Not
not
bad
right.
for a diesel vehicle. That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Why is it 17 for a diesel?
I have no idea, but apparently it's really economical.
Do they know that it's diesel?
I mean, they're the ones who told me the price, so me. Yeah, no, EVs, green energy, it's a weird world we're living in. We're in the future nearly, and it's costing a lot of money. I haven't moved to an EV, obviously, because I just mentioned I've got a diesel vehicle.
Yes.
Egerton, you don't drive, so you have been in many an EV vehicle.
I've avoided all of this.
Yes.
Yes.
And being a former London resident, where all of the things in London are basically EV or is it hydrogen energy?
Hybrids. Yeah. Hybrids.
Hydrogen energy.
Hydrogen. Yeah. All sorts. And also public transport's everywhere.
Yes, well, for you.
Yeah. Well, I say former London resident now because it's different now.
He's very happy about this.
I'm very happy about this.
But he never drove, so you know.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
You're even wearing your t-shirt that says, I don't live in London anymore.
He literally does. If you guys could see this, you would see that Egerton is wearing.
And he's got a badge. That
And it's
says
okay
too.
because it's been patented by the Infinity Casts group. So what we can do is make these available on our shop. I don't live in London anymore. T-shirts will be available very, very soon. This is a thing though. I'm gonna have to make it.
Yeah, we do. So, should we start with electric cars? So,
A lot of news on electric cars.
yeah, what news? So, the first one is malfunctioning Tesla cars, aka Cybertrucks.
Ooh.
Yes,
So
so
those aren't legal over here yet.
they're not.
Do we know if they're going to be legalized over here? Because they're a pretty ugly freaking. Oh, I have so many choice words for the design of this truck.
I've seen
Is it a truck?
I've seen a couple when I went to California up front, and they just don't look good. They look very clunky. I think if they were brought here, you probably have to extend car parking spaces.
They still look like PlayStation 1 graphics.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, PS1. Yeah, you would have to probably extend car parking spaces for those sort of Cybertrucks because, yeah, they're just far too big.
I mean, it makes sense to have them on American roads because they get more space than we do, but
Exactly.
we struggle at the best of times.
My sense is also that probably the entire industry around lobbying, particularly tech lobbying, is different in America than it is here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So probably Tesla being as powerful as it is and Elon Musk being as powerful as he is, they're able to lobby and get things fast-tracked through Congress and that sort of thing. Whilst here, I think it's a bit harder for them to do that.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's taken longer to get it legalized here.
DVLA, DSA, they all have the government was very strict on the type of vehicles that come in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I know it's electric, so it doesn't have to abide by Euro 6, I think it is, or Euro 4 standards or whatever. So, but I'm guessing there is a functional safety component. Like, I'm not even aware of this. I've never been in a Tesla except for one time on Uber. Because you might know this, do the Teslas over here, like the Model X, the Model 3, I think it is, do they have the driverless functionality the same way the Americans do? Because I've seen Americans just like not drive at all while sitting in the driver's seat.
I think they have the auto park, but I don't know if they have the
full-on auto.
No,
I don't.
Yeah.
I've not
I feel like that's
experienced
just
that.
an exclusive American market thing.
Yeah, I've not experienced that. The only thing that I've experienced within the Tesla is if it knows you're coming too close to a car
Ugh.
or some sort of obstacle, it will auto brake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I know about. But
But that's not even that special. My car auto brakes, and I don't have a Tesla.
oh yes.
More than once, it's caught me off guard because I forgot I had auto brake on my car.
Generally speaking, I think it's better to auto brake than it is to auto accelerate.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
In terms of causing
that's true.
You said obviously malfunctioning Cybertruck, so I'm going to presume you're alluding to there's a fault and you need to get to a dealership, but we're not going to allow you to drive your car anymore.
Yes,
In the
basically.
middle of a motorway.
Yes. So a while back in American media, there was this person who was driving a Cybertruck, and a fault had come up on the screen saying you need to return to the dealership. There's a fault.
Right.
And he was on the highway, motorway in this country. And if you're on the highway and your Cybertruck just automatically stops, then that is basically putting you and others into danger, really.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of things. If there's a fault which can wait, then allow the driver to kind of drive it to somewhere safe.
Do what other cars do. Crawl mode. So
Yeah.
a lot of the systems on the car go into sort of like maintenance mode.
Yeah.
And it goes into something called crawl mode. I experienced this when I bought a second-hand car. It was relatively new, and when I got it up to 60, I noticed very quickly that there was an error on my screen, and it didn't do anything at first. And then obviously I was on the motorway at this point, and then I got up to 70. Came out of a 50 zone, and then that's fine, perfect to 50, no issues. I got half all the way through the 50 zone with the roadworks, and then as I came out of the roadworks, I amped up to 60 because we were merging onto a different motorway, and then got onto the motorway, punched it to 70, and what happened? Well, it decided to go, start shaking and vibrating. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And it slowed me back down to 55 or 50. And I was like, what's going on? And it went, maintenance mode. Or something similar. But that was a Ford. God, what was it now? Ford
Fiesta car.
Ford C-Max, one of the newer C-Maxes. And yeah, I was taken aback by it. But also, I had to return it back to the dealership and say it's not working. And they said, "Oh, we'll go get it fixed." They gave me a courtesy car, which was a very small Polo, which wasn't great. And
They should have given you a Mustang as a
they should have really.
Do we even have those here?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we have Mustangs.
Oh, dude, yeah, I see them all the time. I'm raging hard on every time I see one when I'm driving on the motorway because my car's just not that cool. Sorry. But yeah, like I'm surprised that like it doesn't go into maintenance mode.
Yeah.
As most other cars have this. So the fuck, excuse my language. So to completely like dead the car, we cut that out. To completely dead the car on the motorway is an insane and poorly thought through feature from Tesla. But at this point, I'm not really surprised. Tesla products have increasingly shown problems over the last, like they have been state of the art, innovative when EVs came out, but it seems like it's falling behind the quality threshold. And all the other manufacturers who have been building cars a lot longer than Tesla, who are now doing EVs, are doing a phenomenal job with building EVs.
Yeah.
Like some of the ranges that you're getting out of some of these car manufacturers are quite insane. I think the ones that I was looking at, the Mercedes CLA Electric, for example, obviously hefty price tag. Brand new is around £99, £845. Or if you go to lease it, you're looking at £1,000 and 48 per month. I read that really weird. £1,048 per month. Exceptionally long range of 481. This is comparable ranges to some petrol vehicles at this point,
Oh,
which is impressive. There are some people I know who have EVs. They're quite the range isn't good. 250, 280 tops, which is insane. Like that's a trip to London and back, maybe, at a push. But he couldn't do a trip to London and back from Southampton,
Yeah.
where I live, for example, which I think is terrible. You know, I could do that journey and back about 4 times on my car.
But I think also that Tesla is not necessarily a company that you associate with a safety culture and guarantee. And I think, like you were saying, they're not necessarily a company that was building cars first and foremost. They're building the sort of technology around the car itself.
Yeah.
They
And
just happen to say, we're going to put all of this stuff now into a machine
Yeah.
that you could sit in and move.
and not crash.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I assume that Egerton, when you went to America, did you ever go into one of those driverless Tesla Ubers? Because I think there's one in Arizona they do that.
Oh, they must do in California. California get everything.
And might do in California as well.
There is in California. I did not.
Yeah, sure.
I did not. I was this tempted to. I think it's called. Was it Wemo?
Is it a different company that does
So
it?
it's not Uber. It's like
No, it's not either.
I bet Uber does it as well, though. I think in Arizona, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they do it in California. I'm just double checking. I think it is Wemo. No, it's Waymo. That's it.
Waymo.
It's Waymo.
Yeah, you're on a Nintendo Wiimo over there.
I remember seeing a video of someone who had the calls tech support or the customer support inside their Wemo car. Apparently it's Wemo. Oh yeah, because it kept going in circles.
Oh, no.
And I was like feeling for this guy. Like, at what point did Joe, fuck it, I'm gonna jump into the driver's seat and stop this myself.
And I think he was wasn't he going to the airport or something? It was just doing.
He was in the car for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just going around the parking lot.
That's hilarious though.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if he misses his flight. That's on Wemo.
Yeah. So I did see it. I was tempted to use it, but I was like, to be honest, I think I'm still not too comfortable with going into stuff like that at the moment. I think, to be honest, there needs to probably be more news and more info on its safety records before I kind of feel comfortable to go into one of those sort of vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, to play devil's advocate, have you ever been in an Uber with a driver?
Yes.
Because, I mean, especially like, around my ends, they drive very aggressively.
Questionable.
Yeah. So, just to say that,
Yeah.
obviously we're talking about driverless cars, but also drivered cars, and
Yeah, they're just as bad.
they can be pretty dangerous too.
I think the reason why people feel so apprehensive to get into a driverless car is because although human error can exist,
Yes.
a human knows to push the brake, and it's not an autonomous thing. Like a human will 9 times out of 10 push the brake instead of an accelerator. Whereas if something malfunctions and it accelerates, you have no control. You can't tell it to stop. It doesn't know. It's not going to listen. It's completely in the hands of the tech, which is terrifying because, I mean, I personally would feel very, very scared to get into a car. I don't feel like this stuff that's out there and is being used commercially is remotely tested to the level it should be.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying concept. I mean, I think that we're great that we're not using it because we're waiting for the Americans to do the data testing for us.
Exactly.
They're using it on their citizens today, which is freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're more cautious, and I think that's a good thing.
Mm.
But yeah, I'll wait. I don't know. I probably when in Rome, I'll try it, but I probably would be quite nervous. And I'm not really someone who gets nervous, but I don't like being a passenger at the best of times anyway. So
Do you also think it's maybe because the responsibility of if something goes wrong is less clear in a driverless car? that if someone's driving, you can tell who is at fault, like who is the responsible for everyone in that car because they're driving. And then if it's a driverless car, if something happens, it's probably less clear who you actually, like, who do you go to? Like, who do you press charges against?
You press charges against the manufacturer, not the company that runs the service.
So that's like a bigger thing, right? That's a bigger entity
Yeah.
versus just a driver, right?
Well, it would be down to whoever's programmed the software, I think. So, but I guess you would have to. Your lawsuit would probably have to go to the carrier.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
Because they have a responsibility to ensure that their cars are maintained.
Mm-hmm.
If they've got an impeccable safety record, then I guess the buck gets passed to the manufacturer of the car. But yeah, it's a good question. I'd like to see, for example, the gentleman who was playing forever circles in car parks, whether because I think even in just going by American standards of how suing culture works over there, I'm sure he probably sued. I'd like to know.
Absolutely.
Who was seen as the fault in the scenario if he did sue.
Listen, if he has sued, I'll be claiming everything. I'll be claiming dizziness,
emotional damage.
Yeah, emotional damage, my flight, my hotel booking, compensation for emotional trauma. Yeah, I'll be suing for everything. Yeah.
My hip hurts now for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Concussion.
Yeah. I'll be knocked about in the car.
Yeah.
Specifically to the left-hand side as it goes round tight right corners.
Yeah.
Christ.
Exactly. And just something else on the Cybertruck as well. This was quite a while back where I think there was an issue with those Cybertrucks where the accelerator pedal was stuck as well, and I think that actually caused the Cybertrucks to be recalled for maintenance. So that's another kind of issue with those Cybertrucks.
I'm getting the vibe from this conversation that Tesla products are definitely probably stay away. And to anyone listening, I think, just deferring back to the highest performing EVs out there on the UK market.
Yeah.
The top 5, it's shockingly at number 5 is the Tesla Model 3. It coming in at 5. It's been overall rated by on reviews a 9 out of 10. So fair play. It's very fast, massive range, loads of tech. That's if you care. Some downfalls can be awkward using the screen for everything, which obviously I think I've heard a lot of complaints about. Is it's very screen dominant. It's basically got a 32-inch LED screen in the middle of your dashboard that covers up like a huge.
Do people actually like that?
Apparently some people don't. According to what's on the information of what's not good. Having to use a big ass screen is a big no-no. German saloon style, people like that, I guess don't like that, and the controls could be a bit fiddly. So obviously, I think much like we've kind of seen with a few of the examples, Teslas are over-engineered.
Mm-hmm.
Regular consumers don't need that many gadgets, and not everyone who goes into a Tesla is going to be a pilot and going to be accustomed to put all the switches and knobs and all the, obviously everything's on the screen, but all the functionality that goes into it. Driving a car, not an aircraft. But that's it at number 5, the Model 3, at a modest price of just shy of £40,000 brand new.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's what was really impressive.
That's all right.
It's definitely come down in price, and you're looking at a range of this one of up to 436 miles if driven economically.
Driven economically.
Which most people won't do because I like to accelerate vaguely fast at traffic lights. I've experienced it myself, but I think this goes for all. Now, previously, and I knew a bit about this anyway, but Polestar 2 was incredibly popular.
Oh, yes.
I don't know where this brand appeared from, but they, quite like Tesla, they appeared out of the woodworks and made an EV car. And the Polestar 2 previous months was doing, previous years rather, was doing really well and having really good range
Yeah.
in the 400s. But now, obviously, they've got the Polestar 3 out, and the Polestar 3 is in at 4 on this list. Battery range up to 438 miles, so, you know, a little bit more by 2 miles, again, if driven economically, which is really good. Like, I'm surprised they, in this version, they haven't done more, because they were leading, I think, previous years. But the people obviously described it as classy, high quality cabin. So obviously the environment side, they do look really futuristic. They look kind of like Blade Runner-esque sort of futuristic cars. At least they do to me. I really like the style of them.
Okay, let's check these. And is that a full electric vehicle, not a hybrid?
Full electric. So these are all full electric vehicles.
Yeah.
They've also been described as relaxing to drive, spacious on the inside. They're quite chunky looking cars. They're SUVs, right? So unlike the Model X, which is a saloon, and the Model 3 looks like a saloon but is the size of an SUV. So it looks like a car that's been scaled up for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, obviously downsides, smaller boot space, too many controls. Again, seems to be a reoccurring theme with EVs, is that there's too much controls to interact with, and poor over the shoulder visibility. So when you're looking over your shoulder, you want to be able to, you know, check your blind spots. The divide between the front part of the cabin, the lower part of the cabin, the rear part of the cabin, there's not a lot of visibility.
Isn't that dangerous?
With a blind spot, but most modern vehicles now do have a light on the your wing mirror, which tells you if there is a vehicle to a blind spot that you need to be aware of. So not necessarily a bad thing, but it is at number 4. But it has been voted an 8 out of 10 across Polestar reviews, so it's actually been rated less than Tesla. But I don't know if it's because Tesla bros really love Teslas, so we don't know.
There's a whole cult personality.
They're real. They're not a very nice trait at all. I saw a video the other day. Sounds like the podcaster bash Tesla, but really not trying to.
No, they're not.
We'll accept the new sponsors we get.
That's what it says.
But the like I saw a video of a guy who was in probably a Mustang. It was a sports car. It was a petrol car, obviously.
Yeah.
And it was vroom, vroom, like really going for it. And there was Tesla pulled up and said, "Hey, what's your horsepower?" And he goes, "It's whatever." And he goes, "Ha ha ha ha! That's still only that much. Mine's got this." And then the lights went green, and he just shot off. And the guy that was in the sports car was like, "What the hell? Like, I wasn't even trying to race you." I mean, this guy sped off. And do you know what? I hope he still has his car. I'm sure he's been pulled over at least once by the police.
Yeah. Well, probably.
And at number 3, the Audi A6 Sportback e-tron. 8 out of 10 for the ratings. Has a battery range of up to 461 miles. So this is a lot better, than the former 2. It's probably the highest I've seen recently, except for number 2 and number 1. I think most important thing for people now is range. Again, great to drive, practical hatchback boot, so got plenty of space as a hatchback. Very refined on the motorway, whatever that means, and not so good stuff as real world range is not as impressive. So they boast that they could do 461, but they really weren't. I guess I'm not gonna stereotype Audi drivers, but it's not a car that's easy. There's some car. If it's a sports edition car, it's not necessarily ever going to be economical to drive.
No, it won't.
So you're never going to get that range, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Cheaper trims feel stingy inside. Build quality not as sold as expected from Audi. So they've people have complained about the quality of the actual car. And Mercedes takes the top 2 spots. I mentioned the CLA Electric. It has a range of 481 and is obviously it's high range, boasting the furthest in this entire group at number 1. It's comfortable, high quality cabin. People say it feels very big on small roads, which I think a lot of EVs might feel that way. Massive screens are distracting, so again, this is a Tesla trope here, and it's very expensive with obviously a nearly £100,000 price mark. The one that I mentioned that was at number 2, not so high, maybe £100 cheaper, still quite high as far as cost is concerned. It's been rated 7 out of 10, 481 miles estimated range, exceptionally long range, obviously. High quality cabin, comfortable, but again, complaint is feels big on small roads, massive screens are distracting, very expensive. So I think the top 2 are just not for your average person, but all EVs should be striving for these kind of ranges, in my opinion. These compete with petrol cars, and I think that should be where cars of EVs should be meeting the standard. It should be meeting the standard of petrol cars if they're going to expect more people to be driving EVs on the road.
I do also want to note, in addition to the ones that you're talking about, is that there's been this. So in the past year, there's been a decrease in Tesla sales by about 40%, and there's been triple the registrations of BYD, which is a Chinese company.
Oh yeah, I forgot about BYD.
So I think in addition to sort of pulse,
have you seen any on UK roads? I haven't seen it.
I think I've seen.
I think I have seen.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Yeah, maybe it's a London thing.
Maybe.
I
mean, I expect Londoners to.
Yeah. But I think that probably in a few years ago Tesla would have had a relative monopoly on the market.
Absolutely.
And I think that now you're seeing these competitors come into it, and I think probably there's some reputational damage for Tesla in between their safety record on things and also the CEO as well.
I think I think Elon Musk has a very bull in a china shop where he makes money clearly, but he's very I feel like a lot of the products that come out, even SpaceX to a degree, like everything is so experimental and but they just go for it, and I think that's where it kind of makes me uneasy because I don't feel like I would trust. Here, let's see if it works. Technology. I want to have it works. Technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just feels like Tesla's always like rushing to the next thing, get it out
because they want to be first in the market.
Yeah.
Which they were in a way. Yeah. But I think also just in terms of, as we've been talking about things, you can obviously we started with green vehicles and it's then gone into driverless cars, and it's almost like, I suppose in Tesla's mind, it wasn't enough to just make a car green.
Oh, no, makes sense. I don't think it was ever about that.
It was
for them. I don't think it's ever been about that. It's about being the carbon footprint down. Well, 100%. It's definitely about, hey, we did it first.
Yeah,
and that's the trend that's been going through. So which is why I think ethically, I don't think Tesla's the right. If people are wanting to get EVs to help lower their carbon footprint, I don't
wrong category.
Is the wrong category to put money into. It is very much the BMW of the EV worlds and the stereotypes that come with BMW drivers for the EV world, which I don't think is a positive stereotype at all. And the example I mentioned from that clip with Elon Musk with the Tesla driving off kind of thing, it's not a positive stereotype to have, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. It's not about EVs. It's about technology and getting through to the first of the podium. And I don't agree with that personally. And I think there are so many better vehicles out there that have actually been thought through. And an example, a friend of mine drives a Corsa full electric, and it's not equipped with everything. It's just a car that happens to be electric, and it does the job. The only thing that sucks is the range, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And being a passenger in the back seat a few times, I get car sick. It's not a good journey. So I think the only thing that they really need to improve on, the fact that there's no technology in the chassis per se, I feel like they could do more to increase the room in some of these smaller EVs. But other than that, no complaints. It's a car and it does what it is and it's safe. And I personally couldn't ask for anything less from that. So yeah.
This is completely unrelated, but do you like it when electric cars have fake car noise?
No.
Engine noise?
Oh yeah.
But there is the safety idea of it, which is that if a car is going quietly, you can't hear, and there's maybe less safe for pedestrians, right?
I still feel like, I mean, yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Like when I talk to my partner, I'm one of those people. When you know, I grew up in London as well with you as you guys, and so like, you'd be accustomed to just walking across the road, right? And my partner, who lives in a small town, doesn't necessarily. She follows the rules of the road as a pedestrian, like to the T, you cross the crossings, whereas I'm just free as a bird.
Yep.
Well, to the Americans, think, jaywalking, how dare you?
We all jaywalk.
I was like, don't jaywalk.
No,
we're all jaywalk.
Crossover. I get to, you're sensible. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But when I grew up in Tottenham, for example, you know, I wanted to go to the shop. It was across the road. I had to go to a center divide, climb over the little fence that was in the center divide, and then go across the next road because it was a dual carriageway. And, you know, for me, that was completely normal. I'd be dodging buses on a regular basis. I was always squeezing between. I was always timing. And what I realized is, and this is where a conversation crept up with me and my partners, I rely so much on listening rather than what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I could hear the distance of a car sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd be able to judge if I could cross the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the safest thing in the world. It's both your senses, but you know, I could. If I see that there's a car at distance, I then rely on how the sound is getting to me. But if I can't hear it, yeah, I agree. It should have a sound, even if it's a hum. I'd agree. If it has a brrr for no reason, that's where I draw the line.
So you're saying that for pedestrians it's good, but for the driver who wants to have the engine sound, it's cringe, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then.
Why?
Yeah.
Unless you want to have a fantasy cockpit and you play the sound inside the cabin, and you want to play like
I think
aircraft cabin noise while you're driving, go for them.
I think it's better if the driver makes their own noise. They just go vroom vroom instead of rushing around.
Yeah, that's not too good for the engine.
Well,
and they shout at the window to let other people know. Vroom vroom.
Honestly.
Oh no. Oh yeah. No. I think it's if you're adding the noise. Like I think. Are you referring to something Tesla does? Because I feel like this is again.
I wanted to mention that as well. That Tesla
can play sounds inside the cabin, but doesn't necessarily play outside.
No, it plays outside as well.
Does it?
Yeah, it plays outside. Okay. I experienced it.
All right.
And it's the farting one.
What?
It's the farting one.
Explain.
So you've got when you press your horn, it makes a farting sound. And I'm just like, are you actually taking the mic?
I think I've seen videos on the internet where someone's wired up something like that to their brakes. So every time they brake, it makes I think it was a horny moan.
Oh my God.
That was being played through the speakers. So I'm not going to do it for this podcast, but we all know what that
I've seen that. Is that cringe?
That is.
Or is that safe? Is that being safe?
That was cringe, but also a prank. So I don't think it had a long-term solution, but they did it to their mum and she was furious.
That would be imagine playing that driving in London and doing that. Like you're on Oxford Street.
Well, isn't that all pedestrianised now?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it just buses that go down there now, or is it
I think
completely pedestrianised?
Yeah, I haven't been down there for a while.
Me neither. I mean, don't go down there. You'll get your phone stolen by a bike thief. Thieves on bikes, rather.
Yeah.
So just to look at some stats here. So in the UK, 19.6% in 2024 new car registrations were EVs, which I think is quite a substantial amount. We're getting up to like the 25% mark now. This is kind of crazy.
That's quite interesting, because I was looking at an article which was about Australia and about how they're trying to transition towards electric vehicles, and it said that only 2% of the cars on the road are electric vehicles currently.
Only 2%.
That's very small.
Yeah,
we seem to be like really embracing EV, but I think the government's carbon net zero goals are so aggressive.
Yeah.
and they're taxing left, right, and center. London's not the only city in the country that has low emission zone rules in place. You've got Portsmouth and some places up north.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of falls into that. It's forcing the habit change for people to get themselves into debt, potentially getting EVs. But like, I don't think the vast majority of people in London are wealthy. We still have some very poorer parts of London. I think if we're going to look at London as an example, that's where that kind of policy is aggressively done. I don't see it being a good thing for people, but I do see that it has obviously forced the hand of the people and made their habits change. I see more EVs in London than I see anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, and I think it has been very aggressively done in London, as in like trying to basically get people to own electric vehicles as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And the way that the ULEZ, so that's ultra low emission zones.
And congestion charging.
Yeah, and the congestion charge.
Yeah.
So a lot of cars, if you drive them in London, you'd have to pay. Electric vehicles tend to be exempt from those sorts of charges.
Well, for now.
For
now, which they might change.
Which brings us to the question, like an incentive of having owning an EV previously was you didn't have to pay any tax because it wasn't contributing to whatever. And recently, they have introduced new registrations, I believe, now have to pay tax on your EVs. If you had registered before April of this year, just gone, again for the next year to do your tax, it will be zero. From next year, it will 100% be charged. You'll have to pay. And I think EVs that are older than a certain year will also have to be paid. So smart cars are no longer smart. Because I think those were the first ever electric cars this year under work. And they were completely exempt from things. But I think that was to do with a lot more to their size rather than just them being electric vehicles. But yeah, so things are shifting. The government is obviously clearly not expected people to take EVs as quick as this, and they are now having to funnel money from them, as I think you mentioned this in the conversation.
Yeah, so this was before we started recording, which was that, and it was in this article about Australia and their transition, which is that the government gets money when people fill up their car with fuel. They take a cut of that, and they make money off of that. But that revenue stream is lost for the government if you are in an electric car.
Yeah.
So there's a question of how.
And that's just one stream. Right.
Yeah, and that's just one stream. And so this question of, okay, well, if the government's losing out on that revenue stream, where are they going to get it from when it comes to electric cars?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think they're looking at currently doing some sort of car tax on electric vehicles.
And I think that's good for us. That's what's happening over here. But then where does it stop? Because then obviously the reliance on electric energy to charge these cars so are they going to add extra taxes to electricity usage over a certain amount? Like, because when you get an electric car, most companies who offer you electric and gas as a supplier, they have their own EV options, so they are able to monitor EV usage. So would they is there a possibility they could start adding tax onto EV packages via?
Could be.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, sure. And we already have a mess of electric companies here in this. Yeah, can't disagree, right?
I would say there's probably only. Maybe this is me being biased, but I think the only one that I really like as a provider in the UK is Octopus Energy. I think
I use them.
Yep.
Octopus.
Octopus. During the pandemic, when a few businesses went out, Bulb, I think was a competitor.
Yeah.
They went out, they took on all of their customers. Yeah. And they were very clear about not putting prices up, and their advisory to customers is like, don't lock in, because obviously it's so high at the moment. You wouldn't be getting a deal. You're better getting a deal on the flexi rate at the moment.
Yeah.
So while it's fluctuating, they were really, really good, and they did so much to try and keep customers' bills down because they knew people could be struggle. And the Big Five, I think it's called. Well, we won't say about anything. That's probably for another episode.
Yeah.
But it just. Yeah. So I do feel like, eventually energy suppliers are probably going to end up having to add tax to it because the government are going to demand it, because they're going to lose money from revenue from these streams the less and less petrol vehicles get used on the road.
And also, sort of relatedly, there's been fewer green energy tariffs being offered by electric companies because they tend to be more expensive. And for most people, if they're struggling with cost of living, that sort of thing, they're just going to go with their cheaper energy tariffs that aren't necessarily going to be green energy.
Yeah.
And so that's also affected the adoption of it. And I think that's kind of what's interesting about the whole thing, is that you can sort of see how this entire supply chain is linked. Of, you have your electric vehicle, but then where you get the electricity from, that ties to the companies, and then the actual source of the energy, where that's coming from as well.
But also, obviously, people question as well, like, all of this is really good and green, but how are these batteries of these cars disposed of when they come to the end of life? There's a lot of issues around the ethics of even how lithium batteries are mined. As opposed to how much it costs to destroy them and get rid of them. So I think there's obviously the usage side of things is, we're bringing it down, but then do the manufacturing and the disposal offset a lot of that usage? I suppose you probably get more usage out of a battery than you do for both the beginning and the end of its life. But it's by how much has that been cancelled out by? Big question. It's a good question. I'd have to research that and come look into it. And I probably should have done that before this podcast, but for another time.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I was kind of thinking about is, especially in London, there has been a rise of electric charging points to even the point where they're even putting it in lampposts now. But it makes me think that with the rise of the electric cars, is there even enough charging points to kind of accommodate?
I don't think the infrastructure is quite at the...
It's better, but it's not.
It's not there.
It's not able to meet the demand of it.
Yeah, it's not there. And especially then, if you look outside of London to like countryside, around those areas, then again, the availability is very scarce unless you go to like a motorway services, which you'll be lucky to find one if it's working.
I mean, that's the thing.
Or not completely all occupied.
Yeah, or that too.
I mean, car manufacturers aren't necessarily going to wait for the infrastructure to come into place, because obviously they're reliant on governmental policy and building up.
And we are reliant on third parties
and we are very slow on that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that the current government's trying to have this 2030 green energy plan, like putting solar panels everywhere.
But is it feasible?
That's the thing.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
it could be achieved, but again, this goes back to they're very aggressive with how they're doing these things now. So who knows? They probably could, but at what cost? I'm very worried about the economy. Is not great at the moment as it is. So it's very troubling to think how expensive the thing's going to be getting the people to achieve that goal when we have to drastically change our everyday lives and habits. And they're not just in driving, but also, just keeping green in general. I do my best. I don't profess to be perfect, but I do my best.
It's a question of who pays for it ultimately.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we should at some point not be using fossil fuels, because eventually we're going to run out of it and it's not good for the planet. But it's a question of who's going to pay this upfront cost to transition away from it.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And a lot of the time it gets put onto the consumer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Via taxes. The old taxpayer. Okay.
Let us know your favorite tax.
Yeah.
Comment.
What's your favorite tax? And if you own an EV vehicle, give us his opinions. Have any of you ever gone back to petrol cars because an EV just wasn't for you? Do you agree that there's too much tech in EVs? And have you experienced any issues with your EVs that I understand that there's, issues with all types of cars, but have you experienced worrying issues with your EVs where you think manufacturers haven't thought it out fully yet? Let us know in the comments. And, of course, let us know your favorite tax. That's it for us, I think.
Can I just say one more thing?
Go for it.
This is not related to electric vehicles, but when we were talking earlier about who do you sue when something goes wrong?
Yes.
So there was a case in America where a married couple were in a severe accident doing an Uber ride, and they couldn't sue Uber because their daughter had agreed to arbitration when accepting the terms of service for Uber Eats. Completely separate thing. But in the Uber Eats,
This is that Disney lawsuit thing as well. The woman had died at a Disney park, but she waived the ability to sue Disney because she has Disney Plus.
So in the Uber Eats terms of service, it says you acknowledge that disputes concerning auto accidents and personal injuries will be resolved through binding arbitration and not in a court of law. So they had to do this case through arbitration, not
We're wicked people. They knew what they were doing.
yeah.
And the amount of people that use Uber Eats is insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not green, people.
That's not great.
It's not. It is very rare.
Wow. Well, on that bombshell, thanks for listening to the Tech Bros podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day. And from me, and of course, Raj and Egerton, we bid you farewell.
Bye.